Good evening, everyone. My name is Tony Mancuso, and I lead communication efforts for the Summer Health Professions Education Program, better known as SHPEP. For those of you who are unaware, SHPEP is a free 6-week summer enrichment program for college freshmen and sophomore students who are interested in the health professions. During this webinar tonight, we'll hear from a few of our program sites who will go over what the week in the life of an SHPEP scholar looks like. I'll now turn it over to Alex from our University of Florida program site. But before then, just note that this session will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. Alex, feel free to take it away.
All right, thank you, Tony. Hi, everyone. Good evening over here from the University of Florida. My name is Alex Franklin, and I'm one of the coordinators for the UF SHPEP program. I know that SHPEP or SHPEP or SHPEP, different names for it for different folks. Where we are, we usually call it SHPEP because it's just one syllable, and we appreciate it that way a little bit better. So I work for the College of Dentistry at the University of Florida, along with the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, to be one of the coordinators for UF SHPEP, like I said. Let's go to the next slide here. All right, there we go. So like I said, I work for the Summer Health Professions Education Program for the University of Florida, located in Gainesville, which is in North Central Florida. At the University of Florida, we have the UF Health Shands Teaching Hospital, the Shands Cancer Hospital, the Heart and Vascular, and the Neuromedicine Hospitals, as well as the UF Academic Health Science Center, which composes our 6 colleges, making it one of the most comprehensive health science centers in the entire Southeast United States. Our program site began with SHPEP in 2017, meaning we're currently recruiting for our 7th cohort to begin in SHPEP 2023. As you can probably imagine, a lot of what we base our SHPEP programming on is academic enrichment. The main bit here is that we want to focus on academic enrichment as well as physical and experimental, that's the wrong word. We're doing experiences in the health sciences. So we take a different approach to academic enrichment. Instead of just taking one subject and teaching it once at a time, as opposed to, you wouldn't be taking a molecular biology class, we're going to take all of those different science curriculums and topics and kind of morph them together into one larger overview. So each day when you have academic enrichment in the morning, you're going to be learning and getting real world experiences from all sorts of different sciences and basic sciences that will be helpful for your academic career future on into health sciences. So we're going to take all that, and each day we'll have the morning of academic enrichment. Now, in all SHPEP programs, we have 4 different pathways. At the University of Florida, we have medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, and public health. And you can see there in parentheses the number of scholars we take for each of those pathways. But that's not the only thing that you'll be experiencing. When you sign on and apply for a SHPEP program, you pick one of the 4 pathways, but that doesn't mean you'll be limited to only the experiences within that one pathway. For instance, my dentistry students will explore all the other different pathways, as well as several other health science occupations like nursing, vet med, physical therapy, etc. We do different explorations in each of those different regions, different areas, and we do lots of different physical activities along with each of those. So let's hear real quick from our UF Health or UF SHPEP 2018 cohort. These are members from our public health pathway, excuse me.
SHPEP has really given me a broad knowledge base. There are so many different fields in public health that I didn't even know about.
I think SHPEP has definitely introduced me to a lot of connections here at UF, and also just preparing me as far as the application process for applying to graduate school with whatever I decide to do.
Public health is literally everything. You think it's not just a curriculum in class, it's pharmacy, it's medicine, it's dentistry, it's research, it's everything. And I think this program prepared me in knowing how I can address that going forward.
Just getting that sense of interpersonal connection and understanding how to talk to people who are more advanced in your field has been something I've been able to take away from this program.
These faculty, everybody who volunteers here, even the students here, they have you in their mind for their best interests. So I think that's probably one of the most important parts and probably one of the best parts of the program also.
Okay. So in addition to academic enrichment and working in your specific pathways, we also offer lots of other career development, such as personal statement preparation, mock interviews, learning skills development, and we have a financial literacy workshop to help you with some options for paying for professional grad school. We also have seminars focused on health disparities, current health topics such as mental health and ongoing the opioid epidemic, and exercises showcasing the importance of interprofessional education, such as our case competition, which we look forward to at the end of our program every year. Another big key point of our program in Gainesville is our mass casualty exercise. We work with the UF Department of Emergency Medicine and the Alachua County EMS to simulate this mass casualty event. Now, you can't see it because it's probably covered up a little bit, but there's a trigger warning. It's all fake. Everything is fake blood, but it does look awfully realistic because it is a mass casualty event.
Running a mock mass casualty drill in conjunction with the University of Florida Department of Emergency Medicine, University of Florida College of Pharmacy, and the SHPEP program. Basically, the purpose of this drill is to teach students that are interested in healthcare. They can help people that are involved in any kind of incident, teaching them basic fundamentals on taking care of critical patients. By definition, a mass casualty event is where there are too many victims in relationship to their resources. In a large university like this, we hear current events all the time about mass shootings or bombings, whether that's either in the United States or elsewhere, and you have a lot of victims involved. And so if you have bystanders that know how to take care of patients that are injured in any kind of critical incident, that can definitely save lives. There's a huge national push, a huge national campaign called Stop the Bleed campaign. So if there's any basic interventions that someone can do, those being placing a tourniquet to stop life-threatening bleeding or applying pressure to life-threatening bleeding, that can save lives.
Like I said, it's a big event every year, and our scholars really, scholars really look forward to it and enjoy it. So some details about our program. Of course, as you know, there is no cost to attend. For UF SHPEP this year, we'll be doing a hybrid model where the first 2 weeks will be online and the following 4 weeks will be in person here in Gainesville. While you're spending your time here with us, you'll get a $1,000 stipend, a meal plan, and have all of your housing provided. So every day you will sleep in our very luxurious on-campus dorms, walk over to the Health Science Center, and be involved in many different areas of the said Health Science Center. Our program is one of the earlier ones because we follow with our university's summer A semester. We start on May 15th and we go until June 23rd. The application deadline is on February 5th, so take that into consideration. Just like with other SHPEP locations, our application is the same off of the shpep.org website. There's a couple of eligibility requirements, but you can read about all of that on the Robert Wood Johnson website. And we're going to be taking questions at the end, I think, but other information you can find about our program site is at ufhealth.org/UFSHPEP. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for that, Alex. I'm now going to introduce Nora Coronado from our University of Washington program site. Nora, feel free to take it away. I think you're muted, Nora.
Thank you, Tony. Welcome, everyone. It's great to have you here. I'm Nora Coronado. I am the director of the University of Washington program in Seattle, and we have had our program at the University of Washington for 34 years. It will be 34 years this summer. And our program starts on Tuesday, June 20th through July 28th. And we're starting on Tuesday because June 19th is Juneteenth. So we, as you probably are aware from looking at the SHPEP.org site, all of the 12 sites offer some curriculum around medicine and dentistry, but we also offer curriculum around public health. And as you know, the goals for the program are to strengthen the academic proficiency and career development of students underrepresented in the health professions, and to prepare you for a successful application and matriculation into the health profession school of your choice. And Alex already went over the eligibility requirements. The only thing I want to add on this is that I often get calls from students who have done a Running Start program or college in the high school program, and students are often concerned that they have too many credits. So if you are in that boat, please do reach out to me and let me know. Generally, I encourage those students to apply because they're generally kind of still seen as sophomores when they enter college. So do reach out to me if that's where you are in the program. We learned a lot, or SHPEP learned a lot from the pandemic. And so many of the programs are offering 2 weeks virtually this year and followed by 4 weeks in person, but there are a few iterations to this. So there are 2 programs that are offering the SHPEP 6 weeks in person. There's one program, UCLA, that's offering 1 week virtually and 5 weeks in person. And then the University of Washington is a bit of the oddball here, and we're piloting a different type of program. So we're offering it 4 weeks virtually and 2 weeks in person. And the reason that we're doing this is that we recognize that many times students really have to balance, and have to make this tough decision. Do I work to support my family or take care of children or have other obligations, or do I engage in an enrichment program that will help me get into a health profession down the road? And they have to make that difficult decision. So we're hoping that in having a virtual component or a larger piece of the program being virtual, that this will allow them to do both. Students, we still have high expectations that they're doing homework and that you're engaged every day as part of the program, but we're hoping that this will allow students to continue to work part-time or part of their days, as well as participate in the program. As I mentioned earlier, all the program sites have dentistry and medicine as part of the program, but then it differs. And as you can see, there's a couple other programs that offer public health if that's what you're interested in, but there's also nursing, optometry, pharmacy, and physical therapy. I'm going to talk to you about our classes, as well as our wellness component, our pathways, shadowing, hands-on activities, and our service learning component. So our classes, we're going to do them a little bit differently this year. And our theme this year is going to be on cancer. In the past 3 or 4 years, we focused on diabetes. And what that means to have a theme is that we are trying to integrate that into our classes so that a student can see how it looks in terms of public health and biology and in chemistry. So we're offering those 3 classes. And so we're also going to offer, what's also going to be different for us this year is that we're offering an asynchronous and synchronous component to this. And we're also offering it as a block schedule like they do in medicine. So week 1, we're going to take a kind of a macro level look in the social determinants of health and in cancer, and looking at so week 1 and week 2, and focus on population health. Then we're going to narrow it down to biology. And then during week 4, we're going to students will either go into Gen Chem or Organic Chem, depending on what they've taken at their home institution. And if students have had those classes before, the Gen Chem or the Organic Chem, or even the biology, we highly recommend that students take on a peer mentoring role or a peer tutoring role. And this really helps students learn where their gaps are in their own knowledge, and really prepares them if they're interested in dentistry or medicine for prepping them for the MCAT or the DAT. So it's something to consider as well. During those first 4 weeks, students will also work as a group. And this is also a way to prepare students when entering the health profession. Students often work in groups as well. They study in groups and they work in groups. And so this is really preparing you for that eventuality is what we're hoping. And so you also are going to be working in groups and develop your service learning project. So we're going to break you into groups of 2 from the medicine track, because we accept 40 students in the medicine track. We accept 20 in the dental track. So the group will consist of 1 dental student and then 1 in the public health track, because we also accept 20 students from public health. And then some additional classes that students will take during these first 4 weeks are study skills. And students often say, well, I've already had study skills, but we will really want you to put this into practice. Because as you enter the health professions, the information comes to you at a really fast and steady flow. And so we really want you to find out what really works well for you. So we're not only going to have a lecture about study skills, but you're going to put it into practice. And then there's the financial literacy workshops and the civil rights workshops. And again, and as well as the pathway programs as part of this. I wanted to share some information about our wellness program. And the information I have here, our wellness program is generally taught twice a week as well. And the information that you see on the right are some of the topics that were taught last year. So the role of wellness and care, healthy relationships, talking about the stress coping model, white supremacy culture in institutions or organizations and its antidotes, the idea that food is medicine, decolonizing mental health, skill building around microaggressions and bystander care, and cultural practices as well. So that's part of what we do for wellness. And then another big piece that we had introduced last year, which I'm pretty excited about as well, is the idea of the Scholar self-assessment tool. And this is what, in our pathway programs, we offer this twice a week, starting at week 1. And this is the only time that we really separate students out by their tracks, so their medicine, dentistry, and public health track. And this is a tool that we hope that you will use after you graduate from SHPEP. So this is a tool that when you're ready to apply to medical school or another health profession, that you already have started to use, so that you're not going to be stressed out in your 3rd or 4th year of college, starting to think about these things, but you've already started to think about them as a freshman or sophomore in college. So what it's asking you to do is take an overall look at your overall motivation and engagement in terms of your interest in medicine, dentistry, public health, or any of these other health professions. Look at your GPA. How does it compare? So you'll want to look at 3 different schools you might be interested in applying to. How does your academic performance compare to what they're looking for? You'll get some idea of preparing for the admissions exams, prepping for the MCAT or the DAT, and how does that compare to the schools you're interested in? What are they looking for in terms of the hours for shadowing or interning in the field that you're interested in? What does community service look like for those schools? What are some of the co-curricular activities that you're doing, and what are the hours that the schools are looking for? Do your schools that you're interested in applying to require research experiences? And what type of research experiences? And then we get into the personal statement. So you can begin writing the personal statement and just get it kind of that draft started, so that when you're ready to apply, you've already started something and started thinking about it and have an idea about that. And then the letters of recommendation. What do you need to look for in terms of that? What kind of people do you need to be asking? And do you need to start priming them now? And then finally, the overall readiness at this point in time for yourself. And so I'm going to share with you what we did last year for this. So we met with the students twice a week and went through the different parts of this assessment tool. In dentistry, our admissions team met with the students and went through that. And then with medicine, we met with different people on the admissions committee and paired them with a student. So our scholars were able to ask questions of the admissions committee. So what are they looking for, as well as students and what their experiences were. So I think it was a really great experience for students. And generally, we were able to have students from BIPOC communities who came from similar backgrounds as our scholars. So it was a great experience, I think. Students also love the hands-on activities. So every year we have our dental simulation lab, our nursing sim lab, Medical laboratory science is always interesting. We have many other departments. I think last year we did the forensic lab. Some students went to that. So we have many departments that are interested in working with us or collaborating with us in providing hands-on activities. So we're looking forward to that as well this year. And invariably, we often, we have every year a student who's in the medicine track who said, I really like dentistry. I want to do that instead. And we're happy for them. This is the time to explore these different health professions. And if that's a direction a student is interested in, we're happy to help you find your way. So I mentioned also the service learning. So students during those first 4 weeks will develop as a group for a service learning proposal. So it's a great way to learn how to create a proposal and think about service learning. So a student may work with, or a group may work with a federally qualified health center or a community-based organization or anything else. It'll be interesting to see what students do this year. And we recognize that the health professions have changed. The students have changed. The media campaigns and using media has been really important in getting health messages out. So students may decide to use to develop media campaigns, for example, protections during wildfire season, if there's any media campaigns around that, protections for farm laborers during heat, how do they protect themselves? Colorectal cancer screenings for BIPOC populations. So there's a variety of opportunities for students to create messages for their own communities. So this can be exciting for students to do. So we're looking forward to seeing what happens with that. And academics is really important because that's what you have to have generally good grades to move forward to getting into a health profession. But the other piece that's really important as part of SHPEP is creating community. And so those community building activities are important. And I think belonging is important. So it's really important for students to get on campus, feel like you belong in those hallways, that you belong in those lecture halls, and that is your place. That you need to meet our faculty, you need to meet our admissions team. They need to know who you are, and you need to know who they are. But our TAs are also a big part of that too. So some of the activities that they've done in the past are haiku, artwork showcases, affinity group chit chats. You can see the cooking competition. This was really funny, I think, with the Hell's Kitchen kind of thing. And they always do just a beautiful graduation talent show. And that's when, during this final dinner that we have every year, that's when you really see the connection between students and just how important that is. And I just want to add the other piece to that is that we have our assignments. We want students to work together as a group. It's non-competitive because healthcare it should not be competitive. You work as a team in healthcare, and that's what we should be modeling. So we don't want to model that competitiveness. You should all be working together as a team. And that networking is part of that, and creating that community is part of that. And so they have no problem finding things to do in Seattle or in the area, so that you can see the troll under the bridge, or they go to the beach, or they go to the public market. It's a great place to be. And I think any of the SHPEP sites are a great place to go, frankly. So I encourage you to apply and attend any of them. So get your letter in. The deadline is coming up really fast, but there's still time to apply, February 5th. Submit your letter recommendations, submit your transcripts, and complete your essay. It still can be done. So apply at the shpep.org site. And you can see these are some of our students who are on top of, we take them to Mount Rainier every year. It's a great way to connect as well. And if you need to contact me or would like to contact me, my email address is here, as well as you find my email on the shpep.org site. And I want to thank Robert Wood Johnson Foundation for sponsoring us for the last 34 years. So we're happy to be part of this program. So please join us or join any of our other 11 sites. Thank you.
Thank you, Nora. And I want to, I just want to say thank you for that part of this presentation. And giving us information about the University of Washington. I'm now going to turn it over to Maria Moreno from our Western University of Health Sciences program site. Maria, feel free to take it away.
Thank you, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Maria, and my pronouns are they, them, there. And I want to thank you all for being interested in SHPEP. Western University of Health Sciences is another site, and I'll be sharing my deck to be able to give you all an idea of what it'll feel like and what kind of experiences you'll have at our site. Okay, perfect. So at this time, you're seeing the 2022 cohort SHPEP alumni. And at Western U, we're one of 12 sites that's providing SHPEP. And as Nora and Alex have stated before, any of the sites that you end up choosing during the application process, you'll be able to select up to 3 sites that you can choose from. And we wish you all the best in that process. Choose sites that best fit the professional growth that you're going to want, and know that all the individuals involved in SHPEP are here because they want to be part of your journey. And so the biggest emphasis that I could give you in all these is that the network piece and the experience is really going to come out of your energy that you want to be able to put forward in the program. Western U SHPEP is a program that offers 4 tracks. The tracks that we offer are dental, medical, physical therapy, and optometry. Our program dates will be from June 12th all the way to July 21st. So shortly right after Alex's program and Jordan's program starts. We do host our opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies on separate dates to be able to really commemorate all those the beginning and the end of the program. But as one of the questions in the QA was, what do we offer to students after they end the program, is that there's a lot of resources, and the network doesn't end after the 6 weeks. We continue being your partners, your mentors and guides, even after the 6 weeks have ended. So please look at all these individuals here where you may end up going to one site specifically, but we're all your network here. And as of other sites, we are a big team. The Western U SHPEP team is made out of 100+ individuals. And I say 100+ individuals because it involves so many departments and leadership roles that to allow us to really carve out a special curriculum for our undergraduate students. Western U, we don't have undergraduate students, so it's a different dynamic, having to build processes in to be able to fit the needs and the resources that undergraduate students need. So I do want to highlight all the team here, and there's many more individuals that are involved, and all these individuals are potential people that you would want to network and stay in contact. So whichever site again you're in, make sure you make that moment and time to connect with individuals and build rapport, because these are the individuals that can later on give you letter of recommendations. So the work really starts with you and knowing that we have your backs. Our resident peer advisors is our other groups of individuals that will be there to guide you through the SHPEP program at Western U. They are SHPEP alumni that went through our program at our site. And so they're individuals that understand all the ins and outs of what it means to be a Western U SHPEPer. And so they will guide you through the beginning of your curriculum week all the way to the end of your curriculum week. And they will also guide you on how to balance out the work and lifestyle balance. And amongst the networking piece that we want to highlight, I want to highlight here is that you're going to be networking even amongst each other. So there's going to be 79 other individuals alongside you that are going to be taking on this journey, and you have to make the most of it. Learn from each other, understand each other's communities, understand your stories, and to be able to understand why is this individual passionate about being a health professional? Why am I passionate about being a health professional? And through the learning of stories, you're going to be able to really find yourself, your professional self, and the future self that you want to be.
Go ahead.
So again, that's really the takeaway home that I want to be able to share with you all, is that make sure that any site that you end up going to, networking and making the most out of the curriculum that you're going to embark in, you really take it all in, absorb it, ask questions, and really push yourself to be courageous and step into these spaces and own them. Because Nora is correct. We want you to be able to come into an environment, really feel like this is the place where I want to belong, and this is where I belong. So what to expect at Western U? I'm going to give you a sort of a highlight of what to expect in one week at Western U. Or the overall picture is that you have a very dense curriculum schedule. Through Monday through Friday, you're going to be at our Western U campus from 9 in the morning all the way to 4 p.m. And the reason we do this is because we want to be able to already expose you to the dedication, the time, the sacrifices that are going to have to come along the way once you embark on the journey of becoming a health professional. This blocking of curriculum is very similar to the curriculum schedules that our own professional students have, where they're busy from the morning to the night, and in between and after in the evening, they're studying to be able to make sure that they understand the material to be able to take their specific exams at the end of their time here at Western U. So let's break it down 1 week at a time. So let's start off with our morning time. Our morning time, as you can see, starts from 9 o'clock all the way to 12, depending on the date. We are a hybrid site. That means we will be virtual the first 2 weeks, and the last 4 weeks we're going to be in person. However, our curriculum doesn't get impacted as much. The vocabulary that I will be using though is that when I say synchronous material, is that means you as an individual need to be present live, whether that be virtually synchronous or in person. And asynchronous, that vocabulary I'm going to be referencing as material that you're going to be able to do on your own. It's recording material that is going to require you to carve out time to make sure you complete that recording and do the relevant assignments for it. So when we start our first day on Monday, the weekend before, we already assign you with readings, pre-assigned readings to start off that week. And the readings are really going to open up the case that you're going to have on Monday morning. So those pre-assigned readings, you're going to come in, and the first thing you're going to do are quizzes. And we're going to quiz you a lot on a weekly basis, beginning of the week and at the end of the week. Why? Because that's exactly what our graduates, health profession students are doing as well. Quizzing, testing, exams. That's going to be a reality in embarking the health professions. So once we quiz you on your pre-reading, then we're going to open up the case and introduce you to your patient. Now at Western U, we do in previous years, we have been using one patient that you follow for the whole 6 weeks, and we're unfolding the story of this patient, not only unfolding the science aspects that are relevant to the case, but also where is this patient coming from? What is their family dynamic? What is their work responsibility and other responsibilities that they're having to manage while taking care of their health? And so in that opening case, you're going to figure out what is your patient doing in that week of their visit with you. Then on Tuesday, you're going to embark in either a synchronous or asynchronous lecture and focus on the anatomy of whatever part of the patient that we're focusing on, really understanding the impact. Then on Wednesday, we do either asynchronous or synchronous, depending on the week, and really tackling the physiology aspect. Thursday is now the opening of not only are you trying to understand the patient's symptoms or what kind of plan or treatment you're going to provide to this patient, but really understanding the community that this patient is coming from. So health disparities is a conversation that changes on a yearly basis depending on what's impacting our communities now. And at Western U, since we're located in Pomona, California, we really try to embark you in that journey of understanding our own community and what are the elements and health disparities that are impacting there. And we also give a big picture view of the health disparities on a national level. And once we sort of take you on into this journey during this week, we end with grand rounds. And this is where we invite all faculty members from different health professions to join us on a Friday morning to be able to share where are we with our patient at the end of the week, and what would the different health professions, what is their viewpoint, and how would they tackle and understand how they would approach the patient, knowing the facts that had been detailed before you throughout the whole week. And so they get to have a conversation with our SHPEPers and understanding how the different health professionals work together to just help this one patient. Because in the end, they are a team. And as a team, they can refer each other they refer this patient to each other to ensure that this patient is getting the quality care that they need. After ground rounds, as we started you off with your pre-reading, taking quizzes if you understand the concept, and then really breaking it down throughout the whole week. We then end with our weekly exam where you really get the more detailed questions of the information that you undertook that same week. So one example that I can give you of one of the weeks that our SHPEPers took on last year is for one of the weeks they focused on, hypertension with our faculty member from the College of Optometry. And she was our faculty member was able to share about hypertension and how does that play in the role as an optometrist, and how can you identify hypertension being an optometrist. We then on Tuesday, the anatomy portion was then focused on on the cardio system, and the physiology was then focused on how hypertension affects the body. On Thursday, then it focused on health and human services. What are the human services that can be provided to patients as they navigate the health system? And on Friday, they ended up meeting our team led by our lead faculty member that started off the week, which was optometry for this example, and be able to hear from other professions such as PT, from our medical faculty, to be able to really break down all the aspects of that week's content. Once you are done with your morning portion, you are transported back to our housing partner, which is Pitzer College, and you are provided breakfast before coming. So transportation at Western U, we don't have a dormie. We don't provide dormings for undergraduate students. So we partner with Pitzer College, one of the Claremont, that's part of the Claremont Collegiate colleges, and they provide housing for our students. And so we utilize bus transportation to be able to get you to our campus and from our campus back to Pitzer at the end of the curriculum day. Now, after you have your morning session and then you have your lunch, you're then invited back into joining your afternoon curriculum. Now, the reason I have afternoon here Monday through Friday from 1 to 4 p.m. is because each track is very specific on the type of focuses they're going to do and how many days they meet during the week. So this is always subject to change on at each SHPEP cycle. But I can give you an example of what were some of the focuses from last year. So from last year, I could start off with one of our tracks, dentistry. And one of the weeks, a full week of dentistry is 5 days out of the week. That typically doesn't change. Our dental track does end up going all the way from Monday through Friday. And one of the week's example is they focused on bad breath and bleeding gums. They attended clinical rotations. They were able to learn how to identify lesions that you cannot see within the mouth, and be able to do mock interviews and have a review panel with other CDM student doctors. And for the other tracks, we also had PT, and as you can see in PT, their emphasis was really going into the labs and really utilizing the diagnostic tools to be able to treat their patients. It's a very hands-on profession, and so a lot of it isn't within their labs. Now for optometry and the medical track, we have labs and the cadaver lab to be able to have the students join and really get the emphasis of utilizing the devices that they can be able to practice during the SHPEP program, and then afterwards be able to use that as skills that they've learned to be able to shadow people in the future. So SHPEP has a lot of elements of Western U SHPEP has a lot of elements of hands-on, being a hands-on type of curriculum kind of schedule, specifically in the afternoon session. Once the afternoon program is over, you're then transported back to Pitzer College, where then your dinner is awaiting for y'all. And as the same as the other sites, we do offer the stipend of $1,000 throughout the program, which is broken up into two stipends, and then we do offer meals throughout the whole program, and housing is already covered as well. As stated before, Western U SHPEP is a hybrid model, so we will be virtual the first 2 weeks of the program, and we will be in person the following 4 weeks. We are housing our students at Pitzer College Mead Hall specifically. So if you're interested in diving in, you can always check out their website and learn a little bit more about Pitzer College and the community there. However, earlier I was sharing that during the program, you are going to learn how to balance your work and life, your work as a student and your lifestyle, your life. How do you find that balance? Well, that's where we get the support from our resident peer advisors who had been through your journey in the SHPEP program prior, and they help us be able to organize socials and fireside chats. So throughout the week, we have sprinkled around socials, and during the weekend, some activities that you could be able to utilize to be able to have an opportunity to socialize with your peers, have time to just do some self-care and just relax and have fun and create memories outside of the classroom environment. And so some of these images are just examples of how we try to build a community of individuals that are not only on the same journey academic-wise, but also get to learn of each other and learn of each other's values to be able to cement friendships that will last longer, way past the 6 weeks. So if you're interested in Western U SHPEP, please feel free to check us out at our Instagram and Facebook, and both of these social media environments will take you to our websites as well. And lastly, as my colleagues have been sharing, the important thing now is that it is time to apply. Open up your application, and there's 3 action items that you really need to do. Start on that application. You request your transcript through your institution ASAP. Be sure to be mindful that it needs to be timestamped before February 5th. And you need to get your letter of recommendation. Now, letter of recommendation also needs to happen now, because you need to allow all these professionals that you're reaching out to some wiggle time to be able to get in contact with them. Friendly reminder emails are always welcome and encouraged. Just because they don't contact you back in the first time that you send a request for a letter of recommendation, don't assume that they don't want to support you. They're just trying to balance as well, life and work as well. So provide them friendly reminders and have multiple individuals that could really support you in sharing who your character is as an individual and why you're going to be able to succeed in SHPEP. So apply now. Here's the QR code, and at the SHPEP National Program Office website, there are additional resources, just like this one right now. This webinar is going to be posted there, and additional other resources that our colleagues from other SHPEP sites have put together can be found there too. So we encourage you to check them out. A lot of your questions will be answered through there. And thank you for making time to join us today.
Thanks, Maria. And you know what? I'm really happy with the way this webinar is turning out. I think we're getting a lot of really good information from each of our program sites. I'm going to go on ahead and just spotlight everyone right now so that everyone can see everyone on the screen. But I want to kind of go to our first question. We talked a lot about what's life like there at the program site. If I'm an applicant, right, and I'm accepted to your program site, how should I be preparing to, attend your program site? What are some things I should, are there some things I should be packing maybe? How much is too much to pack? It's my first time away from home outside of college, obviously. And or if I commute to college, this would be my first time away from home. So, a little bit of guidance on that would be great. And I will start with Maria, then go to Nora, and then we'll go to the University of Florida.
Thank you. I think for that one, and I'm sure a lot of my colleagues here will sort of agree, is the important thing is communication is going to be key. Once each of the sites know who their students are, who their cohort are, we start communicating with them ASAP. So we want you to please be very attentive to your email communication. This is our biggest way for us to be able to communicate with y'all as we navigate what are other ways that we can keep the cohort together and it's synchronous in the communication that we're sharing, so that way they feel most prepared. So that conversation starts right as you're accepted on March 15. We start now navigating how can we communicate you and prepare you as most possible. And by all means, email communication, backup inquiries or clarification is always welcome. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you're not understanding the instructions that we're providing you. It's okay. We're navigating it together, and this is our way to learn how can we best communicate with this next generation.
Yes, I agree with Maria. Communication is key, so definitely watch your emails, and also we use Canvas, so we also will do a couple of webinars. We want to make sure to get all of you. Sometimes it happens when you're doing some testing and things like that, so we want to make sure that we address some of these issues that you're talking about, what to bring. So we address those during those webinars, and we also do a training on Canvas if you're not using that on your at your school currently. But definitely bring a laptop or a tablet for that, and some extra spending money is often helpful. So even though we provide room and board, as you know, as a student, you like to go out and try new things, right? So you like to go out and eat some food that's nearby, or try an event that the area is known for. So make sure that you bring a few extra bucks for that too. And but I think a lot of that will be addressed at our sites when we do have those webinars and with you. And we'll probably also post them as well, things to bring.
Okay, I can go ahead next, and I'll go ahead and introduce myself first. My name is Jordan Sharpshare, and I am the program coordinator for University of Florida SHPEP. I was a little bit late to the webinar, so my colleague Alex graciously agreed to present in my stead. As far as the current question, I don't know how much other program sites have these particular issues, just because generally our program site is one of the first ones to start in the summer. And because of that, a lot of times our start dates conflict with the kind of exam period for a lot of institutions. So I would definitely recommend, even now when you're in the application process, pay attention to the dates of the programs, of each program site, and just make sure that it doesn't kind of conflict for those times where, if we're one of the only program sites that offers the track that you're interested in, or if you just really want to attend our program site, we can provide you with a letter that you can provide to instructors to try to kind of move things around. And so that kind of keys into what Maria and then Nora communicated, that we don't know if there are issues such as that unless you communicate with us and you let us know. So definitely, if there are as we're ramping up and making the arrangements and everything, if you have specific concerns, definitely kind of reach out to us. We know pretty much everyone's situation has a level of uniqueness. And so we can definitely work with you. You just have to let us know. As far as kind of items to bring with you, if you are attending our program site, I'll just really echo what Nora said. A lot of the things that you would, like to have in your dorm room, any kind of bedding. And we do provide you with a number of things. It's kind of like a little, welcome kind of bag when you arrive. So like a messenger bag and just other items like a water bottle, an umbrella. You'll be provided with things like that, but certainly kind of extra spending money. There's a number of things to do in the Gainesville area. So yeah.
Thank you for that. And you know what, as I'm thinking about some of those things that are fun to do in your area, right? I think I want to focus a little bit on the travel. I want to focus a little bit on the stipend to see how that's like at each of your program sites. So let's start. I think that's a really great place to start. And then I can follow up with my next question right after. And we can kind of keep the same order of round robin unless somebody else has, would prefer something a little different. But if we keep that same order, that would be perfect.
So when it comes to transportation and just activities that you can do, so Western U is located in California, and so if we have non-California students applying to Western U, the classic touristic areas are things you definitely want to save up for. The stipend is there to support you in just navigating things, the responsibilities that you have back at home. And if you are blessed not to have responsibilities back at home in regards to summer housing or some summer activities that you need to be mindful of, that is a cushion of being able to utilize to be able to spend and do activities here in California. But California is expensive and things are rising, so that's one thing you want to be mindful of. So the stipend itself is $1,000, and you will receive it in 2 increments. The first week being a $500, and then towards the end of 3rd week, entering the 4th week, is you'll get the second stipend. So you really have to learn money management during this time. A lot of things are covered, but you also have to be mindful of what are you spending your money on? How many activities can you do during that week? And knowing that you have to allot transportation if you want to be able to go to Hollywood, if you want to go to specific beaches that are outside of the SHPEP socials, you need to be able to allot transportation. And Uber and Lyft are probably going to be your best friends here. So, and those are they can't be, and they're not as economical depending on the time that you're trying to get them. What was another question, Tony?
Sure. So so I know we talked a little bit about the Uber and the Lyft and all that good stuff, but let's talk about like the travel. Like, let's say if I'm out of state or something like that, how does that work at your program site?
Thank you for that reminder. So when it comes to travel, this ties hand in hand with communication. As soon as we know who is our cohort, we start communicating, these are the guidelines, these are the tips that you need to be mindful of. And at Western U, we give specific 2 dates, a weekend to be able to move in. So either Saturday, Sunday, right before Monday start time of the curriculum. And this has to do a lot with our housing partnership as well. So when we give that 1 weekend, we want you to get the best price. So the best price is always ordering, being able to get that at sooner than later. So if you wait too much, if we communicated around end of March, these are the guidelines and tips to get your flight, or if you're going to be traveling mileage, these are the guidelines and tips you need to follow. Now, if you need support in financial piece, communication is going to be needed. Our team wants to be mindful that a lot of individuals that may be applying may have a financial obstacle in place. So just communicate with us. Be mindful that our team members are here to support you. And so follow those instructions, stay in contact with us, and the steps that usually are the route that we usually go for is, once we give you the guidance on how to purchase your airline tickets specifically for flights, you need to be able to buy your ticket and then submit your reimbursement to us, and that way we could be able to pay that reimbursement alongside with your first stipend, ideally. So again, it really has to do with your follow through and that communication, if there's any obstacles in being able to follow through with that action item. So that's specifically for the Western U SHPEP site.
Thanks, Maria. And just for overall, for each site provides a $1,000 stipend, housing, and travel assistance to and from your home to the program site. Nora, could you tell us a little bit about how things are done at the University of Washington?
Yeah, so we do cover all of 100% of travel to the University of Washington to and from. And if you come to the University of Washington, you will get a call from Dan. That is the person who will be booking your travel. So you don't have to book your own travel. He will actually book it for you. And so he will do that. You will arrive on a Sunday. And what will happen is that when you come to the airport, you will see Dan at the airport. And then we have our TAs who will, then he will give you, or one of our TAs will give you an ORCA card, and you will take the link rail to the University of Washington. It'll take you to our stadium, and then we'll have a TA who will pick you up at that station and take you to the dorm. So that's kind of how we work at the University of Washington to get you to your dorm. That's basically it for travel, and we'll do it in reverse when it's time to leave. You'll leave on a Saturday morning.
Sure. And can you talk about stipend disbursement?
Yeah, so we do provide the stipend during the first week. We provide half of the stipend, and when you come onto campus, we will provide the second half of the stipend for you. So you'll have some money when you are here on campus, but you should still bring some extra funds anyway. And then any of the sites that do offer any virtual component, they do provide $100 every week for food allowance because it's built into room and board if you are living on campus. So that's why we've been asked, all our sites have been asked to provide that if there is a virtual component to your program.
Thanks for that, Jordan.
All right, so at UF SHPEP, our stipend is dispersed in 3 increments via a prepaid Visa debit card that you'll be issued. And so we do the installments of the stipend during the first week in the amount of $300, then another $300 kind of near the midway point, week 4, and then right after you leave the program. So that week after the program ends, you'll receive the remaining $400 as part of the $1,000 stipend. As far as travel arrangements, shortly after our cohort is finalized, we send out a survey to all of the students, and we ask a number of questions, just information that we need to know, like emergency contact information and things like that, as well as how you intend to travel to the University of Florida. We generally, scholars arrive via one of three modes of transportation, either by vehicle. If you have your own vehicle, you are welcome to arrive via that to our campus, and we do provide parking for the 4 weeks that you will be with us in person on our campus. Or if you have family members that will transport you to the university, to our campus, and then we also, if you are traveling from further away or don't have that ability to be, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what's going on with my my video, so please just ignore that. But if you are traveling from further away and don't have that ability to arrive via vehicle, then we do have the option of purchasing a plane ticket or a bus ticket round trip for you. And as far as making those arrangements and the actual booking of the tickets, you will ask everyone that is arriving via one of those methods to our campus to set up a travel appointment, essentially. Usually that's the following week after we've asked you to complete this survey. And either myself or another member of our program staff will contact you at the designated date and time, and we will go ahead and essentially book the travel right there with you so that you can see the flights that are available, and inform us of which one kind of works with your best with your individual circumstances, whether it's, you know, oh, I live 2 hours away from the closest airport, or, you know, I have parents that work during the day and they won't be able to drive me to the airport until later in the evening. Just issues like that that will work with you. And so that's why we do the individual travel appointments, and just go ahead and book the travel right then and there with you. I believe that's it.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you know, as we start thinking about travel, we start thinking about housing. You know, I think a lot of students for the, you know, this may be like their first time leaving home, you know, especially if they're from a commuter school or if they're from a community college. So I'm curious to hear, like, what are some of the fun things students can do in your area, right? But also, like, is some of that embedded through? I heard Nora talk about Mount Rainier. I'd love to hear about that a little more. So as a matter of fact, we'll start with, could we start with Nora, then go to Maria, then go to Jordan?
Sure. So some of the things around Seattle, so it's a big campus. It's I think our campus is like a mile or 1 acre or something. It's a really huge campus, but it's so there's a lot of places to eat around campus, and there's a U Village down the hill and a lot of different activities. And students, like, as I mentioned, they can go see the troll, they can go down. There's several nearby beaches. They're not the nice beaches of Florida and California. So, you know, it's Seattle. So keep that in mind. And going down to Pike Market, so going downtown. So there's a lot of activities, the Space Needle, the Big Wheel. There's a lot of fun things, and, you know, going down to the, you know, the market and the waterfront. So there's the ferries. So there's a lot of fun things like that. And the mountains are beautiful. So, and so they can go to Whidbey Island or any of the small islands if they want to take the ferries too. But we have in the past, and hopefully we will again this year, is do our signature Mount Rainier trip. So we usually rent 2 big coach buses and go up to Mount Rainier on a Saturday for the day. And it's students really love it, and it is beautiful to go up there. And sometimes they see bears, and it's just a beautiful place to go for the day. I don't know what else to say, but it's gorgeous to go hiking and just be up there in the snow. Some students have never seen snow, so it's great for them to be up there.
Thanks for that, Nora. Maria?
Yeah, of course. It's funny enough, I've been in California, but I haven't visited a lot of the touristy areas in California. So that's definitely guilty there. But I know for our SHPEP students, that's been a highlight, wanting to visit some of the California hotspots in SoCal, which is Hollywood, LA, downtown LA, all the nearby beaches that we have. Again, there's other sites that you could also get those great offerings from. And then being able to visit a lot of the museums that are in SoCal. There's a lot of museums where if you like to blend sort of the fun with the educational aspects, a lot of our students like visiting there. There are some hiking trails nearby Pomona and Claremont, where our housing site is at. And in Pomona, what we do offer in the socials, we do try to offer some of that balance of being able to visit those hotspots and trying to find group rates is also for Disneyland. And again, Florida has that has that perk as well, being able to offer opportunities to visit Disneyland or Six Flags, Ranging Waters. There's other like in between stuff, activities that may not cost as much as Disneyland, but things just to create experiences. And I think for Western U, what we always do here is that we're trying to partner. We partner a lot with our Pomona vendors because we are part of this community. So we will be balancing some of that network piece and trying to encourage y'all to visit Pomona established mom and pop shops. And there's a lot of activities there. We do partnerships with Leaf and Light, which is a group that does a lot of pottery and art mixed activities, hiking groups. We are partnering up with the Ohlone and San Garbalino tribes to be able to do some more hiking trails, to be able to educate ourselves on the land that we're at, and it's sort of more of the native plant and native sort of luxuries we have here in California. So apart from those very touristy areas, we are going to just sort of ground you on what's really right next to you. So that way you could take away that message of perhaps there's things around you in your own hometown, as sometimes we think we're coming from very bland towns, but in reality, there's a wealth of culture there. So we just need to look for it and really just appreciate what's there around us.
Okay. And for the University of Florida, so in the North Central Florida area, we have a ton of kind of nature activities, preserves, wildlife, just kind of right off campus. We have Paynes Prairie State Preserve, and then also kind of just north of Gainesville, we also have the Devil's Mill Hopper State Geological Park. So we have a number of, and even on our own campus, we have Lake Alice and a number of walking and hiking trails. Additionally, we like the University of Washington, we do typically arrange a day trip for our students. In our case, we rent a couple buses and we spend a Saturday out at St. Augustine, which is the oldest continually inhabited city in the country, in case you didn't know. And so there's a lot of museums and different historical kind of sites to see, including the fort that is located there right in St. Augustine, as well as the beach, St. Augustine Beach, which our students, a number of them, when we do this trip, just kind of spend all their time out there. We also, as attending as part of our site, our students do have access for free admission at the Harn Museum of Art, which is located on our campus, as well as the Florida Museum of Natural History, and also Lake Wahlberg, which is a freshwater lake in the surrounding area that is owned by the university and made available free of charge to students, faculty, and staff. And so a number of our students will also just take the short drive south to Lake Wahlberg and spend the day, kayaking, swimming. They have a challenge ropes course. So there's a lot of activities that our students are able to partake in on the weekends, and then also in the evenings after programming has concluded for the day.
Thank you for that. So I'm gonna pivot a little bit, right? And I think this is like the best question to kind of end the webinar on. So I see this question in the Q&A, and it says, what should you do if you are undecided for the track that you want to apply to? But I'm gonna add a little twist to that, right? Like, let's say I just found out about this program. I'm really, I'm interested in the health professions. I'm just not sure which one, what should I do in my situation? Obviously, we're going to encourage them to apply, but I'm curious to hear, like, was any type of application advice you may want to provide this specific applicant. We can start with Maria, if you'd like, and then from there we keep the same order. Maria, Nora, then Jordan, and then we can close out.
Yeah, of course. And now in this aspect, I've mentored a lot of SHPEP students that have come through our program, but in this mentorship is really figuring out, like, what are your passions? What's the future that you want in your health profession? Because there are realistic lifestyles that come with the health profession that you're going to select. And then specifically, once you select what specialty, if you do choose a specialty in your health profession, that's really going to impact the type of lifestyle and future you're going to want for yourself. So with that, there is work that you're going to have to put in figuring out, really diving in, even if they're introduction videos of that you find online, or if you don't have someone that you can really speak to about their profession, find something online, read up on it, on how their lifestyle is, what is their really doing the homework in regards to what profession you're really passionate about. I'll start off, just so you don't feel overwhelmed, start off with the professions that are being offered in SHPEP throughout those sites. There are very specific professions. Review those professions on your own, and then once you come to the application cycle, apply to the one that most speaks to you at this time. You're coming in, you're a current freshman or sophomore student. We understand, we've been in your shoes. We didn't know what exactly was going to come to our future and where we're going to be at 10, 20 years from graduating college. So it's not that you need to have the answer right now. SHPEP is an exploration, but it will help us to understand what are you sort of leaning into. So that way, when you get here, we could give you more guidance. And if in the end you want to explore, talk to those specific coordinators and programmatic individuals at your site that you end up being accepted to, and let them know, hey, I did choose this track. Thank you so much. I was also interested in being able to check out another track. Is there an opportunity for me to step into a class once or twice a week? So it's that communication piece. You're an adult, and we want you to be able to hone in those skills of being an adult and asking questions and learning about yourself. So do some of the pre-homework first, and then contact us as you're applying, and we'll do our best to be able to communicate some of those tips to you.
Yeah, I think Maria gave some really great advice. I think, one of the reasons that SHP is offered to you at early in your career, as a freshman and a sophomore in college, is because we know that you're early in your career choices, and we don't expect that you have all the answers at this time, and that you may change your mind. So in some respects, I want to say, don't worry too much about it. But I think at the same time, you want to say, what am I kind of leaning towards? So you kind of want to have an idea about it. In doing some of that pre-homework, you may want to look and see if there's some of the other programs that talk on YouTube or somewhere that talk about their programs. And is there a lot of crossover in how much you get to see how some of the other programs operate? Are they including a lot of the other, PT, optometry, medicine, dentistry, all of those, so that you have a sense of how those specific professions operate. So just kind of take a look and just get a sense for what the program looks like. See if that one fits see which ones kind of fit into your schedule, and make sure you apply to 3 of them. And whatever decision you make is going to be okay. It's exploratory, like Maria said. You're just kind of learning at this point, and you're going to learn something by participating in the program. And it's going to help you move in the direction that you're interested in. You're going to find, yeah, maybe I'm not interested in this, but I'm leaning in this direction, and that's a decision. So I think that's, and you can't hope for much better than that in many regards.
Oh gosh, going last, I don't know how much I really have to add, because I agree with everything that Maria and Nora just communicated. The program truly is, meant to be exploratory. I'm sure this is true at other program sites, that you have a student or students over the years that have come in, thinking that they want to do one thing specifically, and then through the program, they learn, oh, I actually really love, this other health profession. So like, just off the top of my head, I know there of a dental student who's about to graduate, and she did our program in 2017, and she thought she wanted to do pharmacy. So, our site, we do provide exposure for all of our scholars to all 4 of our main professions, as well as exposure to a wide variety of other ones, like medicine, or like nursing and veterinary medicine, PT, OT, all of those. So if you are in that kind of situation where, I really want to go into a health profession, I enjoy helping people, but you don't really know, where you want to go specifically, definitely check out all the program sites, look at what they have to offer, see what professions they specifically mention, and, just try to go with the one that speaks to you the most at this current time. And just know that that may change once you actually begin the program. As far as the application and being in that situation, I would recommend definitely kind of saying that in your application. I know at our program site, when we get applications for a specific career pathway, and then the person talks about a entirely different profession, it does kind of leave us scratching our heads a little bit. And so definitely, if you are really like on the fence, let us know that, right in the application itself, so that, we take that into our considerations, when we're kind of going through the application cycle and everything.
Yeah, thank you for that. And you know what? I would say, like, transparency in this situation is probably best needed, and it's okay that you don't know, because again, like, like everyone here on the call said, this program is meant to be exploratory. It's meant for you to figure things out. You're at the time of application, you're a college freshman or sophomore, you're still probably, on top of figuring out what program you want to apply to, you're probably trying to figure out life too. So definitely, I would just say, I'd encourage you to submit an application if you are in a situation where you're just not sure, what you're trying to do with, the rest of your life. And that's fine. You don't have to have it all figured out. That's my biggest piece of advice. That being said, I'm going to go on ahead and, dismiss everyone. This has been a great webinar. Thank you to Maria, Nora, and Jordan for making this, happen for us tonight. And, we were able to learn about each of your program sites. I hope each of you, are able to, appreciate this webinar and appreciate giving out the information to students, because obviously, I think it's always great that we can always inform students with everything that's going on with our program sites, and let them know, and being transparent with our process as well. That being said, good night, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.